Okay, so in problem number 9, we've got this semicircle with a radius of 10 and a center at 0. So that means this OB must be 10, and that means that OC must also be 10 because they're all both of those are radiuses. And then I've got BOC, that's theta radians, which means that we don't know what it is. And we've got to find AOC. Well, I take it back. They tell us AOC is twice the perimeter of the sector BOC. So in this case, they want us to show that the theta, or that angle, is pi minus 2 over 3. So let's take the information they gave us, the perimeter of AOC, and it's equal to 2 times the perimeter of BOC. Because remember, AOC is twice as big, so in order to make them equal, we have to multiply the other one by 2. AOC's perimeter is going to be 10 times 10, and keep in mind that a straight line is 180 degrees, or pi radians, so that means if theta is on the one side, well then pi minus theta must be over here on the other side, because together they must equal pi. And so then I've got 10 times pi minus theta, and then that's going to equal 2 times 10 plus 10 plus theta times 10, because remember the sector, the arc length is equal to theta times the radius. So all I'm going to do now is simplify this. 20 times 2 is 40, 2 times 10 is 20 theta. And let's see, our goal is to get theta by itself. That's what they want us to show. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to subtract 40 on both sides, get negative 20. I'm going to add 10 theta to both sides. So that's going to give me 30 theta. And so now, again, all I got to do is divide everything by 30 in order to get theta by itself. And when I do that, I end up with negative 2/3 plus 1/3 pi, or pi over 3, and that equals theta. And since they have the same denominator, I can go ahead and put those together as one fraction and make it pi over 2 over 3. So I did show that, and that's the answer to part A. Now in part B, you need to bear with me because this is going to take some doing. Part B, we want to find the perimeter of the triangle ABC, which isn't actually in the picture, so we have to kind of create it ourselves, and it's going to look like this. And see, the problem we have with this one is we know only one side of our triangle. The one side of our triangle, AB, is going to be 20, so that part is going to be pretty easy to figure out, but the other two sides are not. Now the other two sides, you'll notice we've got this isosceles triangle, so if I cut it in half, it's going to be a right triangle. And if this is theta, then this is going to be this one side, the right triangle, is going to have an angle of half theta. And keep in mind, we already figured out what theta is equal to. Theta is equal to pi minus 2 over 3. But I only want half of that, so I'm going to multiply it by 1/2 and get pi minus 2 over 6. So now I've got this angle that's in there for my right triangle, and I'm going to use trigonometry to figure out what CM is equal to. And since that dotted line is 10 centimeters, that's a hypotenuse, and I need the opposite side. I'm going to use sine, so I'm going to do sine of pi minus 2 over 6 is going to equal MB over 10, and then I multiply both sides by 10, and I get this, and that's going to be MB. And so now all I've got to do is plug that into my calculator, and it's going to look something like this. And when I get done, I'm going to take that total and I'm going to multiply it by 2, because what I'm figuring out right now is CM. I actually want to know CB, so I'm going to multiply this by 2, and I'm going to write some digits down, 3.7824, at least 4 digits after decimal point. Again, I know AB is equal to 20. So now what I've got to do is find this other side of AC. It's also a isosceles triangle, so I'm going to take that one and I'm going to make a right triangle out of it. The angle of this isosceles triangle is going to be pi minus 2 over 3. And so if I make them a common denominator of 3, I get 3 pi over 3 minus pi minus 2, and then that's going to give me a new angle of 2 pi plus 2 all over 3. Now I only want half of that again because I only want to make this right triangle, so I multiply by 1/2 and I get 2 pi plus 2 over 6. So now that's my angle for my right triangle, and I put that in there, and that's going to equal AM over 10. And this time I'm just going to go ahead and multiply the 10 times 2 in advance, and then figure out the entire length of AC. So I plug this in, and I get 20 sine 2 pi plus 2 over 6. Close it up. And I get my length of 19.639. I include that here. And then all I've got to do is add these three numbers up, the three sides of the triangle. I'm going to get a grand total of 43.421, or 43.4 if I round to three significant figures. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope that helped.